All right, the Boston Bruins and the Carolina Hurricanes. It seems like these two teams always meet in the playoffs, and I think the one big thing to watch going into this series is the goaltending on both sides, and the goaltending tandems, not just two goalies, but the tandem in Boston of Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman, and then the tandem in Carolina of Freddie Anderson and Antti Ranta. And also, I think on the blue line, I don't think a lot of people have talked enough about Charlie McAvoy this year and the kind of year he's had in Boston. And then, of course, Jacob Slavin, one of the most underrated D in the National Hockey League. And again, like Case said about Minnesota, that's a stacked blue line in Carolina. So, thoughts on the Canes and Bruins this series? I've got the Hurricanes taking this one in 7.
Yeah, this one is another one where I had a pretty hard time, and mostly because the harder I looked at these two teams, the more I realized that they're like the same team in the way that they're built and up and down the lineup. So it's hard for me to give one team an edge either way, except I heard there's no Freddie to start this series. And for that reason, I'm a little fearful for Carolina, and I'm going to give Boston the win here in 6 games because there's no way they win a game 7 in Carolina.
Yeah, I'm going to go Boston in 7 here, guys. I also had a tough one with this. Money Puck has 55% probability that Boston will win, but the season series is 3-0 Carolina. I think it really depends, like you guys mentioned, who plays in net for both teams. I think we are looking at Antti Ranta. That's confirmed. Freddie Anderson will be out for at least the first 2 games, perhaps the entire first series. And then in Boston, are we expecting Ullmark or Swayman? Do you guys know about that? Who's starting?
Ullmark is confirmed the starter for game 1.
And see, I don't know how I feel about that.
Me neither.
It's a good tandem. It's definitely a good tandem, but you can only play one guy at a time, and you better hope you made the right pick. Like that's all I can say.
Or don't go home to Boston anytime soon.
Yeah, really. If Tuukka Rask wasn't the favorite in town, how can Jeremy Swayman expect to be a favorite? Christ. Wow. I give the edge on forward to Carolina. I think they're deeper, especially with the additions of Kakiniemi, obviously with the offer sheet, and then Max Domi at the deadline. I thought that was a sneaky good ad. And then Boston, they don't really have a quality second line center. Like, I don't love Haula. I think they're missing Krejci this year in terms of depth scoring. And, I just think forward depth, Carolina has the clear edge. Goaltending, talked about that. I think it's pretty close to even because all 4 guys who could potentially be seen in this series have been good this year, but they've also all been injured, and we don't know who's going to play when and how good they're going to play when they do play. So I think that's a total wash. And then on defense, I think Carolina has a more offensive-minded defense core with the addition of Tony DeAngelo, who has been shot out of a cannon this year. He's been really good offensively. But then I think Boston has a better defense group. So I think there's pros and cons to each team, strengths and weaknesses. So I think it's going to come down to 7 either way, but I'm going to have to go with Boston just because of the way they play in the playoffs, guys. They're not
smart like dump truck.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why.
Right.
Same reason why I went with them. So yeah. It's great.
Yeah. I like Carolina. I like Brindamore. I think like he doesn't care who's in, who's out. He's gonna coach them well like he always does, and I like Carolina in the series. But again, it's Boston.